that energy, bring that intensity, and make plays, and then the ball happened to go in.
And we are joined once again by Doug Gottlieb. Doug, are you buying that Isaiah is back, my friend?
No, I mean, I don't. Look, he lost $100 million in this whole deal between the hip and kind of what happened in terms of getting exposed as being a defensive liability and not making shots. He could not be the Isaiah Thomas of the Boston Celtics with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The market's not going to be great this offseason. That Isaiah Thomas is gone. But if he can simply embrace this role as a come off the bench, frankly, what Jordan Clarkson was, then yeah, and he did look rejuvenated. But let's be real here. They played against the Dallas Mavericks, who were trying to lose the game. Look at their fourth quarter roster, and I dare you to try and identify who Maxi Kleber is. Does anybody know who Maxi Kleber is?
Absolutely, he's the guy.
Yeah, you got no idea.
Now, wait a minute.
He's not even
Switzerland. They had that TV show in the 50s, didn't they? The Klebers.
Okay, so the point is, the Mavericks were trying to lose. The Lakers had the second best record in the NBA since January 1st, and the Mavericks still won the game. So, look, I like that this is a divorce to which everybody feels better about it, right? Cavs, we just went on and on about how the Cavs feel better, and he feels better, and Jay Crowder feels better, and Derrick Rose isn't injured yet, so he feels better, right? But the fact is that I don't think that you'll ever see the 29 a game MVP caliber Isaiah Thomas ever again. That was a special moment. But it's like when Matt Ryan was the MVP of the NFL. Like, Matt Ryan was never a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, but everything, play calling was great. Julio Jones was great. 2 running backs, playing indoors, NFC South down. Like, everything worked out, kind of a perfect storm. And then the perfect storm of negativity was with him in Cleveland, coming off of the hip, trying to fit into a team with too many point guards. This will refresh him, rejuvenate him, get him some more shots. But he's always going to be a backup. He's never going to be happy about it. And at night, when he sits at home alone, he's got to be thinking in the back of his head, I lost $100 million in the last 7 months. No, I don't. I'm not buying that he's back to the Boston Celtics, Isaiah Thomas.
I'm buying that he is back, but I'm looking at it from a different angle. I'm saying he's back because it's all about him. That's all Isaiah Thomas is about, is him. He doesn't care really about winning. Yeah, you want to win. I shouldn't say he doesn't care, but he's more prone to, let me get buckets. Let me put up my shot. Let me get mine. And then everything else I'm cool with. When you look at his stat line last night, he had 6 turnovers. Forget everything else. He had 6 turnovers.
A season high 6 turnovers. 6
turnovers, but I got my powers back. Yeah, he got his powers back because he was able to shoot at will. He was able to handle the rock. It was his show. That's the only thing that he really cares about. When you have a guy like that on your team, when you have a young team, it is not going to work. So from a standpoint of, is he back? Yes, he's back because he feels like I can run the show, but is he back to being the Isaiah Thomas that we saw in Boston? No, because he doesn't have Brad Stevens. No, because he's not running that offense. No, because he doesn't have the type of guys around him to where he can run that pick and roll offense and be effective, and he's just a defensive liability. We saw that in the playoffs, and we'll continue to see it as everybody exposes him with his height. But I think it's a little man syndrome. He wants to make sure that everybody knows I can still score. That's all he really cares about. He's not trying to win. He's about points.
And when you talk about he got his powers back, they lost the game of all the other stuff that you're talking about. You lost to Dallas. What powers? I mean, I wouldn't be out there sticking my chest out talking about, I got my powers back. They lost. And you're right. The 6 turnovers, people forget about that. Yes, he scored 22 points. We know he can score. We know he can play, Doug. That's not an issue. But now you have to go back. That Isaiah who was in Boston, that's gone. That moment came and went. So now you got to reestablish yourself that you're willing to come off the bench, be a quiet guy, play your minutes, reestablish yourself in the league, that somebody's going to say, this guy, you know what? I give him credit. He humbled himself. He's able to come and help a team. You don't want to scare away people who have young players. If he goes and makes a mess in L.A., teams with young players say, we can't bring that guy in here. So you can't, right? You can't have that. You got to be able to show people that you're willing to conform and do whatever. We talked about it off the air, same thing. Remember, Allen Iverson had a hard time. Had Allen Iverson just said, I'm not the same guy, I can come off the bench, play, his career could have played 4 or 5 more years, but he didn't want to accept that. You have to be willing to accept you're not that guy, you're not in that system. And I'm not so sure one game is enough for me to believe that he's all in on this and he's going to watch these other young kids in L.A. play and just be happy with it.
No.
His agent, what did he send Rachel Nichols? A text before he even got to L.A. He's not coming off the bench. Is that the way you start?
Well, look, you said it earlier. His first game in Cleveland, 17 points in 19 minutes. Everybody was thinking, wow, this is just the first game. He's going to be great. One of the reasons he rubbed people in Cleveland the wrong way was because of his statements, about we don't practice, we don't work as hard as Boston did, so on and so forth. Aaron Goodwin, who's his agent, who's a very good agent, he needs to sit Isaiah down and say, look, you got to zip the lip. You can say it more diplomatically, but you have to stop making these statements. To come out and say, I got my powers back. You mentioned a loss, but it's more than a loss. The Lakers were on a 4-game winning streak.
They have been playing great. What did they win? 11 out of 15
They've been playing great.
Trade?
Then they were playing, to your point, Dallas is probably tanking, but also the second worst record in the league. 6 turnovers. And you say you got your powers back? Like, that just shows, I'm just looking at not even the box score. I'm just looking at one column in the box score, which is P, points. That's it. And so he has got to, you said it, what's the market going to be for him? He's got the bad teams with young players might say, I don't want him to bring because he'll stunt their growth because he's just going to be about getting his. He has to show that he will come off the bench. And I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. He got mad, but Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams, he's that type of player. Jamal Crawford is an asset to a really good team.
Absolutely.
So is Lou Williams because they understand their role. They're not great defenders. They come in and score just like Isaiah, but they don't run their mouths like they're the number 1 option on the team or they should be this, even if they feel like it. Because Jamal feels like he is as good as anybody in the league. But he doesn't, exactly. So Isaiah's got to dial it back again. The Boston guy, the hip injury was horrible for him.
Yes.
But that was an aberration. Even if he were healthy, he's not a 29-point scorer regularly for several years on a great team. And Danny Ainge saw that. Said, we can only go so far with this guy as our top dog.
Well, look, you mentioned Aaron Goodwin, his agent has to sit him down. I think Crawford, another Seattle guy. Jason Terry, another Seattle guy. Yeah. Like, those are the guys that need to sit him down and be like, yo, look, you can play for 10 more years, or like Allen Iverson in Denver, they're going to get rid of you, even if you still have gas in the tank. Now, obviously, the difference in him and Allen Iverson is he takes care of himself off the floor. AI never did, and that's why AI was out of the league a lot sooner than he should have been. But there are a lot of comparisons there. Now, look, part of it that we have to remember, you cannot be 5'8", 5'9", and average 29 in the league if you listen to guys like us or if you listen to reality, right?
No, absolutely.
You have to believe they don't know what they're talking about. But it also speaks to, remember, we always talk about Allen Iverson and the 1 year he got to the NBA Finals and how an incredible achievement that was. Or even LeBron, when he got to the NBA Finals, was that in 2007, right, where he had nothing around him. But a lot of that, I think we're starting to learn, or basketball fans are starting to learn, that basketball people know, is it's all about the construction of the team, right? That Boston team last year was with guys who couldn't score. They just had all junkyard dogs, undersized dudes, and then they hit him defensively, and everybody else just got after it. And then at the end of the game, they go, Isaiah, take us home. And you start playing at a level above your normal level because you have confidence and everything's built around you. And so, look, I agree. He needs to stop making statements. Like, you already got, at some point, LeVar is going to show up stateside with his water, with his new water, and all his other, and his shoes, and they're going to be making statements against each other. But Lonzo Ball is the future. You are in the Jordan Clarkson role. Embrace it. Show the league that, hey, you give me 20 minutes, I get you 20 points. That's what I do. Okay, but if you keep pushing to start, if you're a problem in the locker room, the league talks. And there's a reason that at the end of this year, he'll be on his 6th team in 6 years. Sure. You got to be a dude who everybody wants to be around. And I think everyone likes him off. Like, even LeBron likes him off.
Nice guy, right.
He's a great dude. He's an incredible story. The last pick in the NBA draft, 5'8", averaging 29 a game. But you got to be somebody that people love to play with. And right now, he does not have those feelings in the NBA.
All right. Very nicely said. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you're off to next, make sure you get a calf workout in first. Nicest calves.
I thought you liked my calves.
That's what I mean. He has the nicest calves at Fox, whatever that's worth.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about my calves?
I haven't seen those yet, but anyhow, that's a story for another time. All right. Should Tom Brady regret releasing his documentary during Super Bowl week? Save it. All right. Eric Dickerson is going back next to debate.